As much as I would have liked to focus entirely on James Earl Jones, it's a code of honor to mention George Lucas as well. Hopefully I won't be taking too much away from the quality of what I was doing for the man behind the voice of Vader and so much more. But if George could get a shout out, that would be awesome. I can't afford to write this album leaving out George. I really mean it in a way, he's the Lord. Mr. Lucas made this whole ordeal possible, and acting like he's not the one is irresponsible. I'm asking for his input. I wonder what he'll tell me. The thought of writing for you, James, to some was quite unhealthy. You could have maybe stated that you were a no-fly zone. Amelia Earhart would flick a pinecone. George, I need to know your thoughts about this issue. Like, if I'm helping James, was I still capable to lift you? And would you need a boost? I know it's kind of iffy, but George, you gave it up the day you gave it all to Disney. I get it, your franchise will be immortalized. Even if it felt like stepping on a porcupine, Tatooine is real, at least my talk of it. And if you wanna build a bond, I wouldn't topple it. Imagine Marshall Mathers calling you spaced out, like you were a syringe inside the fucking playground. In a way, your critics really need to stay down. And if you ever have a problem, come to my safe house. Imagine Marshall Mathers calling you spaced out, like you were a syringe inside the fucking playground. In a way, your critics really need to stay down. And if you ever have a problem, come to my safe house. I wouldn't even mind if you were George from the jungle, cause you could swing from vines and I don't think you would tumble. Obviously, George, you created a world inside a world. But would you feed a squirrel? Strangely enough, everything has been rough. The world is fucking changing and it's hard to adjust. I often feel like I could fall on the tarmac, but it's alright compared to being fed to the Sarlacc. I'm feeling like a Skywalker. Honestly, George, I hope it doesn't bother you. I hope you accord. I dropped a bunch of names, and we're including James. I heard the voice of doom, but it was false to make that claim. If you were to ask, you were the man in the yellow hat. I only wish that you could bring Carrie Fisher back. I'm fascinated by the work you did when you spoke. So tell me if I'm precious or the great white hope. Imagine Marshall Mathers calling you spaced out, like you were a syringe inside the fucking playground. In a way, your critics really need to stay down. And if you ever have a problem, come to my safe house. Imagine Marshall Mathers calling you spaced out, like you were a syringe inside the fucking playground. In a way, your critics really need to stay down. And if you ever have a problem, come to my safe house.